Reds got to Telford in Cincinnati last week, but it was a blue pit there, a dink there, and an infield hit. And Hal Morris got the big hit through the left side of the infield to score the key run. But Telford's always been tough against the Cincinnati team.
You know, he's not overpowering, Telford isn't, but what he has is good control over his breaking pitches, and there's two different breaking pitches that he throws, a slider and a curveball. That makes him equally effective against lefties and righties. He drops that big curveball in there early in the count and goes more with the slider when he gets ahead of you.
And what you just saw right there, a little cutter that he'll mix into the mix, and he's got Taubman see a ball and a strike. Right in the good spot, down and in, and it's 1-2. Well, the Reds' energy was early, 4 in the first, 1 in the second. The Expos' energy has been late, 5 in the fifth, 3 in the sixth. Changeup got him. Telford's first strikeout, 2 away in the 8th.
Slow, slower, and slowest. You saw the cutter or the hard slider early in the count. Then he went slower and slower with each successive off-speed pitch.
So 2 down, and here's Hammonds. It looked like Hammonds had given the Reds a new life in the 6th. He homered to give Cincinnati a 6-5 lead. Back in the 6th inning with a 1 out. Here's Jeffrey's jolt.
This one off of Guillermo Mota, a long fly ball that keeps carrying and carrying. A home run all the way for Jeffrey Hammonds, our Ohio Lottery replay.
That lead didn't last long, top of 6, because in the bottom of the 6th, Expos got 3. And from a 6-5 lead, it's now an 8-6 deficit. There's a strike. 1-2. Time to fire up those grills with a delicious taste of JTM's new Griller's Choice Beef or Italian Sausage Patties, or JTM's Hamburgers and Boneless Pork Ribs, the brand you can count on. JTM. Nagel against Glavin tomorrow, 7 o'clock at Synergy Field. Tuesday, Juan Guzman against Greg Maddux, 7 o'clock start. We're on the air for both games. And Wednesday, a 7:30 start. We're on the air. Ron Vallone against Terry Mulholland. Dimitri Young in the on-deck circle with the pitcher due up next.
Tomorrow through Wednesday, while the Reds are hosting the Atlanta Braves, the Houston Astros will be hosting the New York Mets.
He got him. Well, back-to-back strikeouts by Telford. He's pitched 2 strong innings. Jeffrey and the Reds are trailing by 2. Here we go to the bottom of the 8th.
Are you ready to hit the road?
This year, so come join us this week. Reds Braves rivalry continues Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. All games 7:05, 7:05, then 7:35. Get your tickets now and join us at the big ballpark by the river.
Well, Felipe Alou went to his workhorse out of the bullpen, and Anthony Telford, and Jack McKeon does the same thing with Scott Sullivan. Brings him into the ball game, leading the National League when innings pitched out of the bullpen with 91 1/3.
Barrett bounces it to second. Pokey Reese has it. That'll take care of Barrett. Barrett's retired. 1 for 4 is Barrett on the day. There's 1 out in the 8th. Looking ahead to the 9th inning for the Reds. Dimitri Young enters the game. He's in right field. He'll lead it off in the 9th spot in the order. Then the top of the order, Pokey Reese and Barry Larkin. That's the Red side of the 9th inning. The Expos side of the 9th inning is Urbina is up and loosening, so they'll face the Reds, the closer of the Expos, and try to beat him for the second time in a week. They beat him last Sunday in Cincinnati. Here's Andrews. Fly ball out, singled in the first run for Montreal in the 5th, and he walked to prolong the rally in the 6th. Reds baseball on Fox Sports Net Ohio, being brought to you today by the new Dodge. Stop by and see the winning lineup of cars, trucks, minivans, and SUVs at the friendly Dodge dealer near you. Angel Hernandez said he didn't go around, so it's 2-1. Andrews has been poison to the Reds throughout his career. Over 300 and is hit with power. This year's been a lost year for him, though. There's a strike on the outside corner. O'Sullivan gets a ground out and a strikeout, 2 away. And here's Jeff Bloom. Bloom, key hit in the 5th, a single that kept the rally alive, and another key hit in the 6th, a triple that gave the Expos a 7-6 lead. Sullivan 1-2 to the shortstop for the Expos. Rondell White's moved into the on-deck circle. Here's the 3-2 to Bloom. Down to first, but Casey has it. He'll tap the bag. That'll do it. But in comes Urbina. He'll try to wrap it up. The Reds, an uphill battle as we go to the 9th, and Cincinnati trails 8-6. On Going Deep tonight.
Well, a new battery for the Expos. The guy the Reds did not want to see this afternoon. Uget Urbina comes on to try to pick up the save. He's already 3rd in the National League with 31 of those saves. He'll throw to a new catcher. Chris Widger takes over behind the plate. The numbers on Urbina very impressive. 81 strikeouts in 61 innings, 92 career saves. That's 5th on the Expos list. And he comes right after you with everything that's hard.
There's a strike to Dimitri Young, his first at bat. Dimitri double switched into the game this past inning. Dimitri 1 for 3 in his career against Urbina. Dimitri, Pokey Reese, who's extended his hitting streak to 6 at the top of the order, and then Larkin to follow. Missing outside for a ball. 8 runs, 8 hits for Montreal, 6 runs, 10 hits for the Reds. If you joined us late, Reds sent 9 to the plate in the first inning. Got 4 runs. The big hits, run-scoring hits from Casey Vaughn and a 2-run single from Hammonds. That's foul down the left field line, and Cincinnati led 4-0. In the second, Pokey Reese singled. Larkin doubled him home. The Reds led 5-0. Pete Harnish was cruising. He allowed 2 walks, no hits through the first 4. Then in the 5th, the roof caved in on Pete. Vidro started it with a double, and then a single by Andrews, a single by Bloom. McGuire pinch hit a triple. Fulmer takes the high hop, taps the bag, and there's 1 away. It was capped in the 5th inning on a home run by Orlando Merced, and the 5-run Reds lead evaporated. We were tied at 5. The Reds took the lead 6-5 on Jeffrey Hammond's 11th home run in the top of the 6th, and Jack McKeon thought he had another lead for a while. But in the bottom of the 6th, the Expos came back, scored 3, have an 8-6 lead, and that's where we are right now. 1 away. Here's Pokey. 1 for 4. And a run scored. Urbina tagged with his 8th blown save and 5th loss Sunday in Cincinnati. Allowed 2 runs on 3 hits and walked a couple. But that's uncharacteristic of number 41. There's a strike, 1-1. When 3 or 4 of the contenders were looking for closers in July, Urbina's name was mentioned. Jim Beattie entertained talks, but kept saying he probably wouldn't trade him. And when it became evident that the Expos would probably stay in Montreal, Pokey pops it up, heading towards the seats. It'll be out of play. The fact they didn't trade him was probably an indication that they were comfortable that the team would stay.
Well, certainly even a second place or a second division team like the Expos, I mean, if you want to keep things somewhat, I guess, on the level, you have to have a closer. I mean, you don't want to get so demoralized by losing those games in which you lead late in the ball game by not having somebody you can turn it over to. And Urbina has been very consistent in that respect. Although he has 8 blown saves this year, he usually gets the job done.
2 outs in the 9th here.
Nice little slider right there by Urbina. Boy, right on the corner, moving away from Pokey. No stranger to strikeouts. Urbina is really on a strikeout binge. He has struck out 64 batters in the last 47 innings that he's pitched.
Reds 1 out left, and here's Barry Larkin. Larkin today doubles his first 2 times up, scored a run, knocked in a run, 2 for 4. Against Urbina in his career, he's 2 for 4. A strike on the inside corner, 1-1. Casey's on deck. The Reds trying right now just to prolong the inning, get people on, and have a chance. This is a part of the order where the Reds have done some business against Urbina. Larkin 2 for 4. Casey 1 for 2. And Vaughn 2 for 5 and a home run. Slap foul. 2-2. The 2-strike count, this crowd of just over 10,000 Those that remain up on their feet trying to help Urbina close it out as the Reds try to stretch it a little longer. Line drive right, sinking. Here comes Guerrero. Got it, and that'll do it. Save number 32 for Urbina. And the Expos come a long way back, trailing 5-0. They tie it and then win it. The final for the second consecutive ball game. Montreal wins 8-6 over Cincinnati. So the Reds at this moment one game back of Houston in the Central. More to talk about when we return after these messages.
Long distance.
Here are the final numbers on this one. 2 hours 42 minutes worth of baseball. The final 8 runs 8 hits for the Montreal Expos, 6 runs 10 hits for the Cincinnati Reds. 10,000 plus 291 in the ballpark today as the Expos win 2 in a row by the identical 8-6 count and even this series at 2 victories each. Welcome back to North of the Border, everybody, at Olympic Stadium. George Grant along with Chris Welch. Well, this series didn't start off the way it ended. The Reds won the first 2 games, were leading in game 3 by a 6-2 count. They lost that league, wound up tied 6-6. Vladimir Guerrero's home run last night in the bottom of the 9th inning gave Montreal an 8-6 victory. Same story today, Chris, as the Reds have a 5-0 lead. They end up getting tied 5-5. They take the lead 6-5, and then boom, all of a sudden it's an 8-6 defeat again.
Yeah, kind of a demoralizing defeat, that's for sure. On top of last night's ball game, a lot of people wrote that off as well. Brett Tomko had a bad night. Today we've got Pete Harnisch on the mound. We give him a lead, he will not relinquish it. Well, surprise, the Expos score a lot of runs in bunches, and they did it last night. They did it again today. It's a ball club, George. You know, it's interesting. You look into the Reds dugout and you realize that last year and the year before, they were in the same type of situation that the Expos are in this year, playing the role of the spoiler. How easy it is, how free and easy you feel and play out there with no pressure on you. The Reds may be showing a little bit of signs of some pressure, knowing that this is a very important ball game. You don't want to lose back-to-back games to the Expos. Even in Montreal, they weren't able to get it done. The offense was plenty, the bullpen was good, but the starting pitching did not hold up.
The offensive story of this game for the Reds, they had some bright spots. Jeffrey Hammond's had a couple of hits, including his 11th home run of the year. Barry Larkin a couple of doubles early, and in a big first inning when the Reds put 4 on, it was Casey with another base hit, a double that knocked in a run. So the Reds got off to an early run. But the pitching story is where you start to scratch your head. Pete Harnisch goes the first 4 innings, allows no hits, 2 walks, and it just got away as it did to Brett Tomko last night in the 5th.
Well, you know, I still got to figure that there's something wrong with Pete Harnisch. I mean, everybody knows that there's something physically wrong with him. He's going to have his good days and his bad days. He gave you, I guess, for a little bit of hope because he started pitching so well. He had 8 consecutive wins in a row. That streak was snapped by the Atlanta Braves his last start out, so you figured Pete's going to rebound today. Well, it didn't look like he had his good stuff. He only had 1 strikeout today. That's indicative of not having his good stuff, and hopefully his shoulder is well enough to make his next start and pitch a lot better.
Well, the Reds took the first 2 of this series, lose the last 2. The good news last night, while they lost, was that the Houston Astros also lost. So just as the Reds have stumbled a bit against the Montreal Expos, the Houston Astros have done the same thing. They've lost the last 2 of 3 against the Florida Marlins, and the Marlins are leading again today. So it's that time of year when you ride the roller coaster a little bit, but what's important now is to get the roller coaster going in the right direction as Atlanta comes to town.
Well, it's not a do or die series with Atlanta, but it's certainly payback time for the Reds. I mean, the Reds have not been able to beat Atlanta, it seems like, in 10 years. But, you know, it's time to get it going. It's Synergy Field. Hopefully there'll be some people out there to watch this series because they're going to bring some pretty good pitchers in there. And obviously the Reds have to get it going. They've got to rebuild some confidence. Not panic time, but you've got to start putting up some W's.
8-6 final. Let's take a look at our play of the game from today from Montreal. Here's the story in the 6th inning. At the plate is Jeff Bloom. Here's our Advance Auto Parts play of the game.
Jeff Bloom finds a gap right beyond the outstretched arm of the center fielder, Jeffrey Hammonds. He can't get it done. And when that happens, 2 runs come around to score, and Jeff Bloom's triple right there. I'll tell you what, that was the damaging runs right there when the Expos were able to score that many with 2 outs in the inning. It looked like Pete was cruising in that inning, and that's a big inning that they gave up 5.
Also our first star of the game, the young shortstop, a couple of hits, including the big triple that gave the Expos the lead for good by a final of 7-6. Hey, we head home. These Reds have come back before. They'll try to do it again. Denny Nagel against Tom Glavine, 2 former teammates.
And a matchup of a couple of guys that pitched together last week in Atlanta. Maybe this time Denny Nagel will get the best of his left-handed buddy.
Final, Expos beat the Reds 8-6. For Chris Welch, our entire crew, this is George Grant. Good day, everybody. See you at the ballpark.